Disclaimer: everything discussed in this video is my own personal feelings, perceptions, and or experiences. Absolutely no disrespect is felt or intended toward any parties mentioned or anyone involved in the events being discussed. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2026. I'm Crystal Dawn Hill, and I'm here to discuss a very special event that took place today in my hometown. Before I begin, I'd just like to say, first of all, that I have my readers on because, which is very unusual for me, I am going by notes today. And that's simply because I don't want to forget anything or get too sidetracked with my ramblings. So I wrote notes to keep myself on track and also so I don't forget anything. So I'm really excited and happy and proud to announce to my viewers and to anyone else who may be watching for other various interests today that my hometown in the state of Virginia in the USA was visited by a very special couple today. And I'm still having difficulty processing that this was real, but I'm here to share my own personal feelings and experiences surrounding this event. Who's the couple? His Majesty King Charles and Her Majesty Queen Camilla. Now, before I begin discussing this, I want to say up front, I want to be candid and honest with my own viewers in the Twin Flame and spiritual community, as well as my personal friends and anyone else who may be watching. I'm very honest and open and speak with integrity and authenticity. And so with that said, I want to say I've never been the biggest fan of them due to the circumstances surrounding Diana and how extremely hurt I was for the boys when they lost their mom. But I'm also very proud that King Charles and Queen Camilla selected my hometown to visit. Out of all the places they could have gone in Virginia, when they did their research, our hometown they found appealing. So I'm deeply grateful and honored for that. The first point that I want to cover is that I have followed the royals for many years, ever since William and Harry were small, and on through, the birth of all of William and Catherine's children, and everything with Prince Harry. I've followed it all. And I can't really explain why I'm interested so much in the royal family. Perhaps it's because they're in Europe and my divine masculine is also in Europe. I really don't know, but I have been enthralled with them for years. So when I first found out about this news of their arrival, I thought it was fake news on Facebook. I wish someone would have been here to take a picture of my face when I found out. I was like, so I did a little bit of research of my own and found out that it was indeed real. And I have to say that I think I must have been a little bit in my ego because I just couldn't stop giggling. And it wasn't because I thought it was comical or silly or amusing or anything like that. Excuse me. It's just that I was in utter disbelief that it was really happening, as I'm sure many, many of my townspeople felt as well. So I don't know where the giggling was coming from. Maybe it was just giddiness from the idea that British royalty was visiting our country, let alone my hometown. So, anyway, moving on to the next point. So, after I found out it was indeed true, I was in a state of shock. I was utterly in a state of shock. And still, I was in a state of disbelief. So, all of my excitement and childlike giddiness was quickly snubbed out by a situation in my personal life. Not anything devastating, but it's been causing me an extreme amount of stress today. I didn't eat until like after dinner time, and I didn't sleep well last night because this all started last night, and it got snubbed out. My excitement got snubbed out this morning because of the continuation of the communication issues between myself and another party, which I can't elaborate on, nor do I really want to. But it stole my joy for a little while, and I dealt with it best I could, thankfully, just in time for the arrival of the king and queen. So I saw that various news channels had gone live and they were covering the area that the motorcade was going to drive through and park. And it was quite an event. It was, even though I was like 30 miles away, I could feel the joy and the pride and the respect and reverence of the king and queen. And I have to say, honestly, in a way, I'm glad I wasn't there. I don't drive. I have a vision impairment. So, if I had gone, it would have been with someone else and they might have wanted to stay longer than I could, and so it definitely was best that I wasn't there. And in that respect, I'm glad I wasn't. But in a way, I really would have loved to have been there. Not specifically to see the king and queen, because as I said, I'm not their greatest fans. But just to be with my townspeople and to congratulate those who did such a tremendous job of putting it all together and making sure that everyone was safe and secure and enjoying themselves. It was like really a spectacle. So congratulations to the mayor, the sheriff, and all the parties involved in making this streamlined and successful and safe. Moving on to the next point that I wanted to discuss. Before I talk about what I actually observed and felt when I was watching the live event. I'd like to say a little bit of commentary about why I wanted to do this video and how I'm going about discussing everything. So I noticed in all of the posts that were being shared prior to this event, some people took it very seriously and were almost protective of anyone who might have been perceived as not seeing it clearly enough. That's the only way I really know how to say that. Other people were making fun and questioning why they chose our area. Well, I was curious as to why they chose our area, but not in a disrespectful way, in a curious way. Like, I genuinely would have liked to have known, what led up to their decision. What was it about our area that appealed to them, which in hindsight, I've learned, but at the time, I did not know their reason. So, from my understanding and from the way they planned out their visit, they were drawn to the equestrian world and also the national park. King Charles was interested in that due to his passion for conservation, which is wonderful. And I always liked that about him. So, I wanted to talk about, and I have a new phone, so I'm hoping that I can get through this whole video without getting cut off. If not, I'll do part 2 and maybe even part 3. So, anyhow, I want to share my perspective from all of the different points. From feeling a little bit humored by the whole thing, and rightly so. We all are entitled to how we feel about things. Partly because of my sense of pride and awe that this took place. And also some deeper seated feelings that this seems to have triggered within me. Things about my town that I have an unfavorable opinion about, but have never really shared openly. Things that are hurtful and sad, and quite honestly, they made me bitter. As a child, as an abused child, I fell through the cracks. I was overlooked by the system, never protected, never cared for in the way that I felt like I needed to be, or that looking back, I feel like I should have been. At the time, I didn't have a clue.